This episode of the Astro Powder Powdcast is brought to you by Gema. Synchronized monitoring and control of your automatic coating process is at the core of the powerful, user-friendly platforms for complete smart factory automation by Gema. Gema Connect, the newest smart factory production information tool from Gema, provides full visibility of the current status and key performance indicators for your Gema powder coating system. The Gema Connect dashboard, available anytime and anywhere, is a safe cloud-based digital management tool providing comprehensive monitoring and analyzing capabilities that empower you to improve your operational efficiency, maximize resources, and reduce operating costs. To learn more, visit CompleteItWithGema.com. To speak with a representative or schedule a demonstration, call 877-437-6771. And be sure to mention, Ask Joe sent me. Connect it, synchronize it, analyze it, optimize it. Now is the time to complete it with Gema.
Hello, all you powder coating fans, and welcome to episode 43 of the Ask Joe Powder Powdcast. I'm your host, Joe Powder, a.k.a. Kevin Biller, and with me, as always, is my esteemed colleague, sidekick, Nathan, who just rolled in from a rollicking night at Bike Night on the north side of Columbus. He's ChemQuest's powder coating research formulator dude.
That's right, folks. Don't touch that dial. We're broadcasting from the ChemQuest Powder Coating Research Studios in Columbus, Ohio. The purpose of the Ask Joe Powder Podcast is to bring the latest news and technical know-how to the global powder coating community. So let's get it rolling.
But before we do, I'd like to give a solemn shout-out to one of our fallen comrades, Bruno Fawer. Bruno was an ardent powder coating devotee from the moment he began his career in the 1970s. He had well over 40 years of operation, formulation, application, technical sales and marketing, as well as customer service experience in the field of powder coatings, and also had some smattering of expertise in liquid industrial coatings. He was born in Switzerland and held various positions in his illustrious career, both on the powder coating formulating and also with the resin manufacture side of the industry. In his last couple decades, he was a consultant with the Powder Coating Consultants. That's Nick Liberto's group. So he helped Nick out with their clients from the technical side on materials and handling and things like that. Bruno's formal education includes a Bachelor of Science degree in Chemical Engineering from the College of Technology in Zurich, Switzerland. Bruno was a native Swiss who moved to the United States and became a U.S. citizen. He also had a master's degree in Marketing and Operations Management from the Weatherhead School of Management, which is part of Case Western Reserve University in my hometown, Cleveland, Ohio. Powder coating friends, we lost another dear friend and a great guy. Godspeed, Bruno Fawer. Our next portion is our Guess What?
Guess what?
Okay, IPCM reports that PPG has recently announced that it'll invest more than $11 million to double its production capacity for powder coatings in their San Juan del Rio plant in Mexico. That investment will include the installation of new production lines and upgrades to existing equipment. They expect it to be completed by mid-2023.
$11 million sounds like a lot of money, but then it doesn't sound like a lot of money. When you think of what it costs to build a full-size production line for powder coatings, you're getting into the seven figures. So
doubling is doubling.
Yeah, but good for them, and it sounds like business is going well. I do hope, though, that this isn't like replacing or displacing, I should say, other production efforts in a different part of maybe North America. So stay tuned, my friends.
Agreed. Another one from IPCM. Jotun announced that it sold its interests in Russia and left the country. They initially closed the plant in Russia in March, and then they sold all the shares to a wholly owned subsidiary company. And since the 2nd of August, it's actually been taken over completely by a Russian company, and Jotun has disconnected all ties to producing paint there in Russia.
Yeah, hats off to Jotun. I mean, they're talking the talk and walking the walk, and they said, no, we're out of here. We can't come back. Maybe sometime in the future, but good for them. I think they're making a statement, and also they've eliminated their interest in the operations, so they're not throwing the people that the employees and the support team for it, into the wind. They let somebody else buy it, so good for them.
All right, this one comes from PPCJ. Axalta has developed a single-layer thermoplastic that can be used as a primer for a range of metallic substrates in conjunction with one of their traditional powder top coats. The latest solution maximizes anti-corrosion performance and combines effectively with the aesthetic attributes of their Alesta powder coating platform.
Yeah, sounds good. I wonder. Plascoat, it's a company, it's a company and brand and technology from a UK company that had been thermoplastic powder supplier, and Axalta acquired them. Goodness, I think in the last 10 years. So sounds like interesting stuff.
Just crazy enough to work.
Okay, now it's time for the question and answer section of our broadcast.
Do you have a question?
Ask Joe Powder.
Well, you can ask him.
Ask Joe Powder.
He has the answer that'll advance your
powder coating.
It's the Ask Joe Powder Powdcast.
Okay, our first question comes from Maria in Florida, and she says, Dear Joe Powder, I hope you don't mind me troubling you with a question regarding the failure of the epoxy polyester powder coat to the metal on the equipment in my office. I found your site while searching the internet for answers. I'm a dentist in Florida, and I'm experiencing problems with the finish to my dental equipment. The equipment is 3 years old, and the paint is bubbling up and chipping off the delivery units, which is that movable tray holder that the instruments sit on. I've never seen this before in the 25 years I've been working in dental offices. The paint is covered with a protective plastic that's lightly adhesive and disposed of after each patient. The paint is wiped down with a hospital-grade disinfectant wipe after each patient as well. We first started noticing the bubbling and corrosion after about 18 months of use. I've had dental equipment that was over 40 years old, disinfected with diluted bleach that never displayed this kind of wear. The manufacturer said that they never experienced this phenomenon on any of their products. They used epoxy polyester powder coat. They insist the units were manufactured in the U.S. according to FDA standards. Can you think of any reason why this would happen? If you need photos, I can email them to you. I sincerely appreciate any insight you can offer to this problem. Thanks for your time and consideration, Maria.
Well, hello, Dr. Maria. This is a serious problem, and the coating definitely is failing prematurely. So I understand your concern. As far as what could be the root cause of the problems you're seeing with the bubbling and corrosion or oxidation of the equipment that has been powder coated, it shouldn't be happening. So let's kind of look at the possibilities. Number one, the coating supplier or the finisher could be using an incorrect or poor quality powder coating. There's an outside chance that they may have pulled the wrong product off the shelf. Somebody saw a white powder coating or an off-white powder coating, and they mistakenly applied it to the dental equipment. For instance, if this was a standard polyester product, it would not have the chemical or cleaner resistance that typical high-performance hybrid powder coating would. A more remote possibility would be this is just an off-spec batch of powder coating from the powder coating supplier, but to be honest, that really doesn't happen very often. Another possibility would be the powder was applied properly but was inadequately cured. So the applicator may have had the right material, sprayed it on, consistently and completely, but the time in the oven for the coating to adequately harden or cure was not enough. And with powder coatings, it's kind of hard to tell unless you run a test on maybe the solvent resistance of parts before they ship them. But an undercured powder coating visibly will look good to the eye, but may have poor chemical resistance. And this could cause the blistering and loss of adhesion that you're observing. A third possibility, and I think this one might be a little bit more probable, is that the substrate or the metal was poorly cleaned and or poorly pre-treated prior to the powder application. If the instrument parts weren't thoroughly cleaned and pre-treated prior to applying the powder, you wouldn't get enough bite of the coating into your dental equipment. Sorry, I couldn't resist. But this could cause a premature bubbling and adhesion failure. And just to give you an idea, adequate cleaning and pre-treatment would consist of a 5 to 7 stage cleaning pre-treatment process, which would start with a cleaner, probably alkaline-based, higher than room temperature cleaner, with intermediate rinses, possibly some type of phosphate or zirconium. Following that, some more rinses, and then possibly a sealer, a final sealer. Without doing that adequate cleaning and pre-treatment, you're just not going to get an anchor for the powder to get good adhesion and to maintain performance. Now, you mentioned FDA standards, and the way this works with powder coatings, the FDA does have within the Code of Federal Register, the CFR, they have requirements for what type of powder coating can be applied to instruments like the ones you use in a dental office. This would be their regulation 175.300. And basically, this consists more with making sure that no toxic materials are used in the coating formulation. It does not regulate the specific performance or durability of a coating. So this was more the FDA regulates the toxicity and not the performance of things of this nature. The other thing I wonder, did your equipment manufacturer provide a warranty for the performance of the equipment? I would think that they would be responsible for the durability of the equipment, including the durability of the finish. I feel they should correct the problem and replace the equipment. So if it's not them, then maybe it's the people that, or the company that did the powder coating application and curing. So to kind of wrap up, it would be really helpful if you did send me some pictures, and then I can comment further. And if you'd like, if you could send an example of a failure to our laboratory, we could kind of really dig in and maybe identify really what the root cause is. Thanks for your question, and please let me know how I can help you further. Kind regards, Joe Powder. And now it's time for a word from our sponsors.
Gema powder coating systems offer you greater efficiencies while producing high-quality results. We provide the very best in powder delivery, application technology, and connectivity for smarter factory automation. With Gema, you get maximum performance and repeatability whether you are on the shop floor or away from it. For a demonstration, call 877-437-6771. Once again, that's 877-437-6771. 6771. And be sure to mention, Ask Joe sent me. When you want to know that everything is covered, complete it with Gama.
The Powder Coating Research Group is now part of the ChemQuest Group, proud sponsor of the Ask Joe Powder Powdcast. ChemQuest Powder Coating Research is the only independent laboratory dedicated to powder coating technology. We do everything from evaluating raw materials, formulating the next generation of coating, developing new products, consulting, testing, troubleshooting, and training. Our parent company, ChemQuest, provides expert business strategy and advisory services in all aspects of the specialty chemicals value chain, including expertise in both liquid and powder coating. To find out more, visit our website at powdercoatingresearch.com or ChemQuest's website at www.chemquest.com. You can email Kevin Biller at kbiller@chemquest.com. Thanks for listening to the Ask Joe Powder Podcast.
The ChemQuest Group is the parent company of CQ-PCR and provides strategic consulting to companies throughout the specialty chemicals value chain, including advisory services on business strategy, market research, mergers, acquisitions, or divestitures, manufacturing excellence, and formulation, application development, and benchmarking for liquid coatings and adhesives through our sister facility, the ChemQuest Technology Institute. Please contact Edie Fox Abrams, Vice President of Business Development, at info@chemquest.com.
All right, we're back, and our next question comes from Belinda in Johannesburg, South Africa. Belinda says, "Good day, Joe. Please assist if you can. In South Africa, it is very difficult and very expensive to get piped gas into my plant. We're starting up a powder coating section for architectural extrusions. I would like to get some input as to whether I should select my ovens to be gas or diesel or infrared. Is there a SWOT analysis that's been done to determine the best options? Regards, and thank you in anticipation."
Well, good day back at you, Belinda. Actually, this is a very common problem on the African continent. We've done some work in Kenya and ran into a similar problem. The coating operation there, well, there weren't utility gas lines that were laid to the industrial center where they had their plant. So they either had to buy a tank and have it filled with gas and then, use it, from the tank and have it delivered as needed. And it was really cost prohibitive because the way it was set up in Nairobi, they had to buy a year's worth of gas, which it was just cost prohibitive. So they elected to use electric resistance heating for their finishing line, which I thought you're much better off maybe looking at something a little more sophisticated than that. But anyway, at the time, this was their lowest cost option for the money they had. And I guess they were kind of figuring they were going to have to eat the higher operating costs of using resistance electricity, which is going to be pretty high. But for your situation, here's what I would recommend. I think a combination of electric infrared and electric resistance heat. The electric infrared will work quite well to heat your parts up quickly, and then the electric resistance heat, which I would recommend be a convection type design, so the air circulates in the oven. I think this would work quite well. Regarding the infrared system, you're going to want to look at a medium to long wavelength infrared system. It's going to give you really good heat up consistency, and it's going to be less sensitive to coating differences as opposed to like a short wavelength or high intensity infrared type. I think it's also important if you can rotate the parts as they go through the infrared, because infrared works as a line of sight type energy transfer. So it heats up the surfaces that are in front of the infrared emitters, and you'll get some convecting or I should say conduction of heat throughout your parts away from the sides that see the infrared energy. But like I said, if you can move your parts, rotate them as they go past the infrared, I think you're going to get much more consistent heat up rate. The infrared will get your parts hopefully near or up to the temperature that you need to cure the powder coating. And then the convection electric resistance heat will finish the job. It'll even out the temperature throughout your parts and give you the time that you require to get the coating to fully cure. The other thing about convection heat, as opposed to infrared, convection heat is colorblind as opposed to infrared. Infrared does absorb differently depending on the color of the coating that's on your parts. Now, you mentioned gas, diesel fueled ovens. My advice would be to avoid diesel fueled ovens, and this is a rather inexpensive route to take as far as fuel. But the biggest problem that I've seen with diesel fueled ovens is the combustion is not as clean as other types of gas like natural gas or LPG. And this will definitely cause inconsistencies in color. You're going to get some color from the incomplete combustion products of the diesel, but the diesel, just by the way it burns, is really kind of dirty. And if color is any type of requirement for your products, I really seriously recommend avoiding diesel. So I don't think that's an option. Anyway, I hope this helps with your quest for a curing system. I hope everything works out. Good luck, and please let me know if you have any other questions. Best regards, Joe Powder. Okay, let's talk about some upcoming events.
Hey friends, where are we going? To an upcoming event.
All right, we're just a couple of weeks away from the Powder Coating Summit in Lombard, Illinois. It's the 8th and 9th of September, and it's taking place at the same location as Coatings, Trends, and Technologies. You can register to one or the other or both. If you do come to the Powder Coating Summit side of it, we're going to be doing a educational track where we talk about how powder coatings are made and applied and tested. ChemQuest is also going to have a table at the expo. And Robert Duan, another ChemQuest guy, is giving the keynote. So if you guys want to come and check us out, we'll be all over the place.
And Robert Duan has had an incredible career. He's risen to very high levels within, major paint makers. He was the global technology director for one of the biggest coating companies in the world. He's done work not only in North America, but also did a lot of a long part of his career he was responsible for Asia Pacific, which the guy knows his stuff.
All right. And then the week after that in Jakarta, Indonesia is the Asia Pacific Coating Show. Feel free to stop by there September 14th through 16th.
That's on my list. I think I'm gonna make it maybe in 2023.
Yeah, maybe not this year. But then the 27th through 28th of September, we're holding a powder coating kitchen 2-day short course. Get a hold of us if you have any interest. I think we still have a seat or two left if you want to learn all about the basics of formulating powder coatings, what goes into them, how to formulate for performance.
And seats are limited. And one thing I can tell you, powder coating fans, it's always a really good event. We get, the finest, people in the industry. A lot of them are new to powder coatings, but they're smart and they're eager. Some of the people have had, a career maybe in an allied type field, either resins or maybe liquid paints. But not only the instruction's good, because we love doing it, but also the interaction and networking between your fellow class attendees is always very, very valuable. So anyway, highly recommend it.
All right, the November 8th through 10th in Atlanta, Georgia is FabTech, which that's a huge show for manufacturing in general. There's a small finishing section, which, I mean, it looks small because it's such a big show, but it's really like the size of one of the old powder shows we used to have.
Yeah, for sure. I think they call it the finishing pavilion, and it's kind of cool because, there's the powder coating, or mainly, finishing of all types, but there seems to be a pretty strong focus on powder coatings. But then there's all these equipment companies, and it's good to see the interaction between them and the finishing world. So it's kind of cool. Hope to see you there. Okay, before we wrap up, you can find the traditional Ask Joe Powder question and answer column in IPCM, which is International Paint and Coatings magazine, which is produced by our very good friends in Italy. It's a fantastic magazine. I highly recommend it if you're not getting it. They have a great website as well. They run the Ask Joe Powder column in all their issues, as well as our very good friends at PPCJ, which is Polymer's Paint Color Journal, which our good friend Christine Malthouse and her gang publish that journal, which is excellent. And finally, PCI, Paint and Coatings Industry magazine, who no longer print their magazine, which is not surprising. It's a sign of the times. But they carry the Ask Joe Powder column on their website. You might have to dig a little bit to get to it, but yeah, they publish our column quite regularly.
All right, and you can find us online at AskJoePowder.com. If you want to know every time an episode comes out, just subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We're on all the major listings. We have a YouTube channel. We'd appreciate it if you subscribe to it. We're going to be, you can either listen to the podcasts on there without video, or we're going to be also posting videos from time to time showing different instructional stuff about powder coatings. Our Twitter is at AKA Joe Powder. And if you want to ask a question, the email address is askjoepowder@yahoo.com, or you can call and leave a message at country code 1-478-2-ASK-JOE. That's 1-478-227-5563. This has been a production of ChemQuest Powder Coating Research. Music editing and all those crazy sound effects are done by Nick Page. And Shiva Kamini Somakanda Kram!
And remember to keep your powder dry, my friends.
Thank you for listening to the Ask Joe Powder Powdcast. This episode was brought to you by Gama. Synchronized monitoring and control of your entire automated process is the core of Gama's Magic Control 4.0 data management systems, with options like line management, offering deeper insight into productivity and consumption, or energy management, allowing you to monitor and save both energy and air consumption, or batch management, offering tracking of powder used to coat production batches. Gama provides the very best in technology and connectivity for smarter factory automation. To learn more about Gama's Magic Control 4.0 data management systems, visit CompleteItWithGama.com. Connect it, control it, track it, synchronize it. Complete it with Gama.
I've got a paddle.
Well, that's probably better for your physical fitness. Let's call it
I don't
that
know.
way.
If I was like a serious, like go out on a big lake and like search for the spot with the best fish, like if I was into that.
If there were any lakes in Columbus, Ohio.
Basically, when I'm 50, I'll get a motor for my kayak.
Yeah, you buy a Corvette.
Hope I'm never that lame.
Hope I die before I get old. I think that's a wrap. And I think it's beer 30.
Hell yeah.